The biker wasn't expecting his entire life to change in a single moment, but sometimes fate hides its biggest turns in the smallest hands. And on that cold, gray afternoon, it came in the form of a trembling little girl with scraped cheeks, messy hair, and 5 crumpled dollars pinched between her fingers. He had seen fear before. He had seen desperation too. But never on a child so young, and never pointed toward him with such innocent trust. It made him freeze, right there on the sidewalk, as if the roaring world around him suddenly fell silent. The instant she stopped in front of him, everything in his life slammed to a halt, and whatever happened next would mark him forever. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and unexpected heroes, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your support helps stories like this reach more hearts. The biker, known on the streets only as Ryder, had been wandering the city trying to keep his mind off the wreckage of his own life. His gang was breaking apart, his brotherhood fading, and he had lost more friends in 1 year than most people lose in a lifetime. His nights were drenched in regret and his days felt like borrowed time. He didn't know where he was headed, he just kept moving because stopping felt like drowning. But when he saw the little girl walking alone, her face stained with something dark like dried tears or dirt, something inside him shifted from a dead engine into a slow rumbling spark. She didn't speak. She didn't cry. She simply walked up to him and stretched her hand out with the wrinkled $5 bill. Her tiny fingers shook like leaves in a storm. Ryder knelt instinctively, trying to soften the hard edge of his presence. Tattoos covered his arms, his vest was heavy with patches, and his eyes held years of pain, but the girl looked at him as if none of that mattered. As if she saw something gentler buried underneath. He wasn't used to that. Nobody saw past the leather and scars anymore. But she did. Without thinking, he asked what she needed, expecting perhaps food or help crossing the street. But instead, she whispered something that hit him harder than any punch he'd ever taken. She told him she needed protection. Not from monsters under the bed. Not from shadows in the night. But from the man chasing her, the man she called her father. Ryder felt his jaw tighten, and in that single instant, everything in him snapped into focus. Behind her, a heavy figure was moving fast down the sidewalk, red-faced and furious. The man's steps stomped aggressively, and his eyes burned with something that made Ryder's instincts flare. He didn't know the full story, but he didn't need to. The girl's terror was enough. She clutched Ryder's vest as the man approached, and that one small grip was enough to awaken a part of Ryder he thought had died long ago, the instinct to protect something fragile. He stood up, gently pushing the little girl behind him, and placed himself between her and the approaching man. The father demanded the girl back, but Ryder's years of reading people told him instantly that this wasn't a situation where returning her would make anything better. He could smell the alcohol on the man's breath even from a distance. His hands twitched with rage, not concern. His voice didn't sound like a parent, it sounded like a threat. As the father lunged forward, Ryder held out a hand like a wall. The man tried to shove past him, but it was like pushing a mountain. Ryder didn't hit him. He didn't need to. Sometimes strength lies not in fists, but in the unshakable silence of someone who refuses to back down. And in that moment, Ryder was immovable. Eventually the father cursed, threatened, and stormed off, disappearing into the bustling street. The girl sagged in relief, clinging to Ryder's leg like she had been holding her breath for years. Ryder crouched again and asked her where her mother was. The girl whispered that she had been gone a long time and that her father had changed after losing his job. She said she didn't want to go home again. She wanted to feel safe, even for one day. And that was why she had offered him her $5, because someone once told her that bikers help people if you show them respect. Ryder's chest tightened painfully. It wasn't the money that shocked him. It was the fact that she believed she had to earn protection at all. He didn't take her $5. Instead, he took her small hand and walked her to the nearest police station, staying with her the whole time. He didn't leave her side as officers gently questioned her and called social services. He didn't leave when she got a warm blanket. He didn't leave when the fear started to fade from her eyes. In fact, he didn't leave until she looked at him and smiled, soft, hesitant, but real. A smile he hadn't seen on anyone in years. It felt like a sunrise breaking through a storm. Ryder stepped outside the station afterward and sat on his bike, staring at the sky. For the first time in months, he didn't feel lost. He felt needed. And sometimes that's all it takes to heal a heart that thinks it's broken beyond repair. A little girl with $5 and unimaginable courage had reminded him that even people covered in scars can become shields for someone else. Even wounded souls can rise when someone believes in them. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe to support more emotional stories that remind us of the good still left in the world.